So, where we last left off, we had our two companions so far who have met one another, having recently left a small hut that they met not too far from, having had an interesting experience with the residents of the hut, and having now continued on their journey, having adopted, let's say, a new member or a new follower, for lack of better terms. Nephi and Nasila are traveling along down the path. As you can see, the landscape is quite beautiful. Mountains off kind of on your right, and on the left, moving. When the two of you come to a crossroad, at that crossroad, there stands a man. And he is standing there, arms crossed, kind of looking where the path splits into two, kind of trying to figure out where to go. Forward, you see the two ladies coming from roughly the direction you came from. See them approaching.
James, you make this very hard to hear. Shush.
So, Key, what about the name just Green? How do you think about that?
No, not right. No, no.
Okay, you know what? Key is starting to grow on me. Just the name Key. It is fitting to you. You are right.
Seriously. That's like me just calling you person. Hello, person. Hi, person. How you doing, person?
Well, have you come up with a name since we've been traveling?
No, because I haven't found the right one. We've had this conversation before.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, look. Hello, traveler. Where are you heading?
Actually, time out. Oh, Monkey, you are back?
Yeah, I sat down and said, okay, guys, I'm ready.
Okay, sorry. I thought I missed that. Okay. All right, as you were.
Hello, sir.
Off to fight. I'm off to fight the war for justice.
Justice. That's noble of you.
Who's Justice?
The side of the light and the side of justice.
Athela looks down at Nephi. Did we run into a crazy one?
I'm not sure. I mean, sir, do you fight for daylight? Or
I fight for whatever's
torchlight?
good, whatever's right, and good will always perceive.
Sarn, quick question.
Yes.
What side are we on?
You are... Yeah, sorry. A little bit more backstory. What has happened is that essentially the nation of Goldor, of which you are all more or less citizens, has put out a call basically inviting recruitment of soldiers to fight. The specifics of who they'll be fighting are a little vague, but what you've heard through kind of the grapevine and from people who have brought it to your attention, basically there's some sort of uprising of sorts in the southern part of but you're not really sure much more than that.
Okay, so we're on the side of Goldor, essentially. The land of
Yes.
Goldor. Okay.
That's correct.
Asila looks back at the human and says, "Are you Goldorian?"
Why, of course I am. Can't you tell by my looks?
Well,
Can
I
I
mean,
tell from his looks?
people have many different looks.
Roll a...
Or what?
a knowledge of local check. I mean, you know that Goldor is a big place, and there are quite a bit of variety of people. He looks like someone you wouldn't think would be out of place in Goldor.
You seem to be a human,
Yep,
And-
he's definitely human.
friendly enough.
Well, I don't know about that.
He hasn't attacked us yet.
Yeah, true. It's better than Key's family.
Hey. Ford, you at this point, you're hearing a strange chittering voice piping in every once in a while that seems to be coming from Asila's pouch, from what you can tell, you think. Hey,
Is there time
I'm not
for
the
you?
one. I'm not the one who keeps barging into people's houses and just trespassing all over the place. That's. What would you do if someone barged into your house?
I
Probably offer tea.
don't- Yeah, I don't know. I
That's
haven't had
fun.
a house in a really long time, but yeah, that sounds like a good thing. Tea, biscuits.
You
Whatever.
people.
And we didn't barge in. The door was unlocked. Somebody left it unlocked. Yourself. Sorry, sir. Which way were you heading? We're heading southward-ish.
I don't quite know. The voices told me to fight for the war to help Gordor win. Because with my help, they surely shall win.
Asila, he said the voices told him.
Yeah.
Voices?
What's your name, sir?
My name is Ford Bloodsworth, ally of justice.
Bloodsworth? Like worth your pint of blood?
Like blunt,
Blunt.
like not very,
As in sword.
blunt, not very sharp.
Like Key.
Hey, I'm not meant to be sharp.
Anyways, you guys have asked me questions. Now time for yours. Are you guys fellow allies for justice?
We are off to the war for the Goldorians. Goldorans.
Ah, so allies of light indeed. Since we're going to the same place, do you mind if I travel along?
Feel free. The more the merrier.
It's a free road.
I like this guy.
You would.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. That you're very friendly and like people.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
He didn't like us.
Okay.
Can I roll perception to see if I notice this guy yet?
What's that?
Can I roll perception to see if I notice this little thing talking?
Oh, you've noticed him.
Well, you said it here
Pretty-
chattering. You didn't say, you didn't specify whether or not I knew anything
Sorry.
of it.
You can hear this voice and you can hear everything that's been said. You can hear it coming from what sounds to be Asila's pouch.
Yeah,
Asila opens her pouch to talk to Key. Or while they're talking to Key.
Mr. Bluntsworth, may I introduce myself? I'm Nephi, druid for all who need me. And gnome by race, as you can clearly see. I'm not human.
Asila has her hood pulled forward over her face, so you can't really see it very well. Asila, nice to meet you.
As to you, my lady, as I bow to both of you guys.
Oh, he has manners.
Hey. You forgot me. I'm part of this party too, remember?
We just hadn't gotten to you yet. This is Key, our traveling partner.
That is not my name. And Ford, what you see is floating out of the open pouch is a small greenish-colored metal key that seems to be floating, hovering around.
Quite nice to meet you, sir. If you don't like being referred to as Key, what is your name?
I don't have a name. He kind of points towards the other two. See, why is it that everyone always is so important about name? What is it with names? Are you going to name that stone over there? Are you going to name the tree over Why don't you name the water over there?
Well, I would just like to know what to refer to you as, 'cause I don't want to be rude and refer to you as it.
Well, I am an it.
And I believe that water over there does have a name. I mean, the locals around here have given it a name so they can say, hey, that's the river so-and-so.
What river is it?
Fine.
Can I tell?
It's actually not well. It's a river. You don't know the name, but you figure that it flows more or less into the Bay of Wen, W-E-N,
Okay.
to the north.
It's a northern flowing river?
Yeah.
Alright.
North is downhill, so yes. Fine. If you really feel the need to, you can key. But I still object.
We're still trying to figure out his name.
Well, I will avoid calling you Key, sir.
Call me whatever you want, as long as it's not anything really stupid.
Key, what are you made out of?
The key kind of shifts back and forth a little, and you kind of get the feeling of him just kind of doing. If he was a humanoid, you'd feel like patting himself down, kind of thing.
So he's just kind of like. I assume this key doesn't have arms, right? It's just a key.
No, it looks like a normal key. It's just
okay.
floating
So
and
it's
talking.
just like kind of vibrating for a second.
Kind of twitching around. I don't really know.
That is a very good question. Let me see if the Keymaker's book can tell us anything.
Wait. What?
I pull the Keymaker's book out of my pocket.
Oh, you are sneaky. You stole that. I like you a little bit more now.
I picked it up and forgot to return it.
Sure you did. With an implied wink in his voice.
Wink, wink.
He says wink, wink after he's done talking.
Hey, I don't have facial features. I have to make do with what I can.
Sorry, it's just funny.
It's quite all right. Let's see here. You're the green one. And as
you look through, as you look through the book, you see a bunch of just kind of drawings of different designs. There are some other symbols that you can't quite make out. What languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Druid, Sylvan, and I forget the last, Gnome, and Dwarven.
Wow, you speak a lot.
I do.
You do not recognize the very small amount of text there is. There's not a lot of text, but what it is not in a language you can read.
He likes to draw pictures, and there's a bunch of scribble in here I can't read. Well, let's know.
Can I take a look at it?
You can. What do you speak?
Common and Terran.
You can't make heads or tails out of it either.
What do you think? Yeah, pictures.
No idea. Pictures.
Yeah.
It seems to look more like a doodle book of just like, oh, this might look good as a key, or oh, this length width proportions might be good. It doesn't seem to be too significant. It just seems to be more like a sketching whatever ideas comes to him type book.
Okay.
Might come in handy someday. All right.
So, what are we going to do? We've got another person joining our party. That makes 4 of us now.
The more the
What are we
merrier.
going to do? You see it kind of shift and look one way, shift and look the other way. So which road are we going to take?
So there are multiple roads in front of us. Do they like fork into left and right?
The road forks ahead of you. One going left-ish, one going right-ish. You do see a signpost of sorts. It's a piece of wood with kind of a scratched in name pointing to the left. That path also looks to be more well-traveled. The path to the right, it doesn't look like too many people have been going down it recently.
What does the other path look like?
The path going in the direction of the signpost looks decently well-traveled. People coming from roughly the direction you guys came from probably go by relatively frequently. It seems to be well-worn.
Wait, so the signpost is pointing in which direction?
The signpost is pointing towards the leftward road.
Okay.
The rightward path is much less traveled and doesn't seem to be, not as much has gone there.
Okay. Are we headed toward a specific place to join the Goldorian army?
The name of the, I guess for lack of a better word, rally points, the recruitment specified that anyone interested in joining should assemble at the town of Arias. Eryas. Arias. Which is southern part of Goldor.
What does the can I see what the sign says?
You can. It says, pointing to the left, it says Werse. Werse.
Okay.
And let's see. I'll have you guys all roll a knowledge of local check.
A knowledge of what?
Local.
Okay. I know nothing.
I barely know anything.
Asila, you...
So.
What's that?
So I only rolled 13, so nothing either.
Okay. Asila and Ford, you both know that Werse is the name of a small fishing town off of the kind of on the southern edge of the Bay of Wen.
Okay. Well, Asila turns to her travel companions. Well, Werse is a bay in the south, so, and we're trying to head to east?
Sorry.
Arias.
Werse is on the north shore of Goldor, on the southern edge of the Bay of Wen. Okay, here's what we'll do. Let me pull you to. Please hold.
Yeah.
Have you guys switched pages in progress?
Yes.
We did. It is completely
Cool.
black.
Scroll down a ways.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Haha.
This is what you know of Goldor.
Okay.
You see the little pin thing in the top edge? That's you.
Oh.
This right here. That's moving
Oh,
around.
okay. Cool.
That's you. Werse is here, obviously.
Got it.
Arias is where you're heading to go. The uprising that you're being recruited for is kind of on that southern peninsula, near Gunsendal and Cardell, where you've heard rumors of unrest.
I think we should take the well-traveled road.
I don't know. This other road seems to be heading towards the mountains. I'm personally fond of mountains.
They're okay. They're steep. Little legs don't like them very much. We could probably get some good stuff if we head into town, or toward a town. We've been on the road for a little while.
I suppose we have. Fair enough. To Werse it is. We head off down the left path.
All right. All right. So you guys heading down the path. It's a nice day out. You're just kind of strolling along. Not really much. Taking the notes of some pretty average surroundings. Not too much going on. You shortly, a couple hours, let's say, you do come to the outskirts of Werse. Werse is a small fishing town. You arrive at the outskirts. What would you like to do?
So I think the first thing we should do is actually, what time is it?
Mid-afternoon, 2 or 3.
I'm getting hungry. We haven't eaten in a while. Maybe we should look for something to eat.
Fair enough. I'd also like to look to see what kind of wares they have here. So we're gonna find
Shopping.
food and shopping.
Alrighty. Go ahead. How are you going to figure out where you're going?
Walk around town.
Okay.
Wander aimlessly,
Straight
looking at
ahead.
signs and people and...
Are you going to look at buildings, talk to people?
I'll probably leave the talking up to the gnome.
Okay.
Yes,
Just kind of wander through, looking around.
yes.
Alright, so as you walk down the streets of Werse, you...
Also, I make sure key is in my pouch. And
Fine,
closed it.
but just not for too long.
As you walk down the road, the kind of the main street, as much as it's a main street, buildings are pretty simple. One-story buildings, not very big. Most of them just look like houses. There are a couple that catch your eye. One of them has a large wooden hammer hanging on kind of a shop sign outside.
Ooh, I think this one's a blacksmith.
There's
Ooh, I want
also,
to stop it there.
there's also a large building. In contrast to most of the buildings, which are made out of wood, this one's stone and has a large carved seagull on the front of the building.
I think this
another
one
building?
sells birds.
Another building is a kind of a nicer looking building. Just says over, kind of across the top, over the door, it says Barden's Goods. And a little further on, you see probably the biggest building in town, and it's got a kind of what used to be very nicely carved giant hook about tall, that inscribed along the hook like a fishing hook, says the Rusty Hook.
That place looks interesting. Do you want to do shopping first or food? I mean, yeah. I can hold off for a little while if you want to shop first.
Let's take a look in the shops and see what they have. What's the closest one? The
closer one is the name Barden's Goods.
Let's head into this one first.
Sounds goods.
Haha, funny.
I try.
All right, so you head into Barden's Goods?
Yep.
All right. When you walk in, it looks like a pretty standard general store. You got supplies and all kinds around on the walls, stacked, larger things stacked on the ground, some shelves with some of the nicer things, some of the more fragile things. And sitting on a stool behind the counter is a very old looking gnome. He is wearing a white shirt with a green vest over it, patchwork hat, kind of a cap, almost like a nightcap. And he's sitting there. He's got big gray bushy eyebrows, big bulbous nose, tiny little gray goatee on his chest, sitting there with a pipe in his hand. Yes, what is it? Can I help you?
Hello! You are a sight for sore eyes. Hello. We are here.
Hello.
We're here to peruse your goods.
All right. What do you need?
Asila, were
I-
you looking for
I was
anything in particular?
I was wondering if you had any healing salves.
Oh, yeah.
Not sure. Hey, boy, come here. He calls out, and a young boy, maybe 11, 12, human boy, comes in to the room. Yes, sir. What can I help you with? Hey, Jag. Go check and see if we got any. What you want? Healing salves? You said
Yes, please.
healing salves. Do we have any of those in stock right now? I'm not sure, sir. I'll go in the back and check. Yeah, good boy. Go do that. The boy, who you gather is Jeg, kind of the assistant, goes in the back, hunts around, and he comes back out with 2 bottles. These are what I was able to find, sir. Ah, good, good. The gnome takes them from, sets them on the counter. This is what we got.
Can she tell any of us like exactly what they are?
Do a knowledge of Arcana check.
I got a 15. I'm sorry, 16.
They look to be pretty standard potions, healing potions, cure light wounds.
What exactly do these do?
See, what happens is when you get hurt, or you cut open or hit your head or something like that, you take one of these, you drink it, and it makes you feel better. Some sort of magic-y stuff is in there, and something happens. I don't know. I just sell the things.
Sir,
She picks one up and examines it.
are you by any chance the Barden that owns this establishment?
Yes, I am. I am Barden.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Barden. I am Neffy. So,
Hi.
how much are you asking for these potions?
Well, hold on a second. He takes out from his pocket a tiny little, like almost like a little notebook. Just starts flipping through it really, really quickly. So he gets to the page he wants and kind of sticks his finger there, hold it really close to his face, and looks up and he's like, 50 gold each. Right? That's a 5, not a. Yeah, that's a 5. 50.
Ooh.
50. That's quite expensive.
Can I help you read that? Just, make sure you're reading it correctly.
No, this is my catalog. You can't. Well, actually, no, he can read it. I can read it fine too. See, 50, 50.
And as I read, does it actually say 50?
It does. You get the feeling that this is pretty similar to kind of almost like a little flyer that he would have handed out around town, almost like an advertisement. It looks to be pretty standard. Yeah, it does say 50.
Well, it does say 50. I'm wondering if there's any way we can make a
Yes,
deal.
it does. A deal?
Yes, one gnome
Like
to
what?
another. Maybe haggle down to maybe 50 for both of them.
50 for both of them. That's
Mhm.
basically a buy one, get one free.
Yes, but you're not sure exactly, like, how strong they are. I mean, we don't want to pay top money for something that's not very strong.
Are you insinuating that I would sell anything less than the best?
No, not at all, but I mean, unless you can give us your assurance that these are good quality, strong potions of healing,
I never.
we might have to walk away and see if we can do better somewhere else.
Well, I can tell you for sure, there is no one else in this town that sells it. Jeg, is Arden still here? No, sir. He left last month. Like I said, no one in town who sells healing potions. That's a fact.
Rather than paying for them, then, is there anything we could do in exchange as a service?
That's an interesting proposition.
Yes, I mean, we are quite capable people of doing many things.
Really?
Mhm.
I never would have guessed. Well, I don't really have anything right now. How about this? I owe a favor. See, I owe a favor,
Mhm.
and if you could maybe take over that favor, while it might be in my seeing been done.
What kind of favor are we talking about?
Well, see, here's the thing. Me and old Bertrand down at the Rusty Hook, we got into a bit of a card game, and I lost. See, and so now I owe him a favor. But if you were to go over to him and say that you are there for old Barden here to pay off his favor, then he might have something for you to do. And if that was the case, clearing my slate with him, I could see maybe a buy one get one. Jag, don't those big shops in the bigger cities do that kind of special deal every once in a while? I don't know, sir. I'm sure they did it at some point. Yeah, buy one get one. So 2 for 50. If you go to Bertrand and tell him that you're here to fulfill my favor to him.
I would consider that fair, of course.
Fantastic.
And what kind of establishment does Burton run?
Oh, he runs the Rusty Hook. It's the only inn in town.
Oh. Well, we were looking for an inn because I'm getting a little peckish. It's been a while.
That's probably the place you're going to want to go then, because just like there isn't anyone else potions in town, there aren't too many other inns in town either.
And I'm curious, being new to these areas, what is the place with the big bird on the sign?
Oh, that's the church. I don't really pay attention to that.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. All right. Did you need anything, Mr. Blunsworth, while we're here, or do you want to wait till we come back?
Yes, I was looking for a particular weapon. Would you can sell any of that here?
What you looking for?
A dagger of sorts.
Dagger.
Aside. A masterwork scythe in particular.
Wait. Sorry, I didn't actually hear you. What did you want?
A dagger.
A dagger.
A dagger. Okay, that's what I thought I heard, but then I thought that maybe someone was scythe, and I mean, old Farmer Bob has a scythe, but I don't think you want that one, because it's just not very nice, and he's been not using it too recently, ever since the farm. Anyways, I'm getting off track. A dagger, you say? I think, Jag, do we got daggers here? Yes, sir. Would you like me to go get one? No, Jag. I'd like you to go and hide it away so we can't sell it to the customers yet. Of course, I would like you to go get it. All right, I'll be right back, sir. Jag wanders off and comes back shortly and is like, sir, I don't see any back there. I don't know if we might have any. Oh, wait, Jag, did we? That's right. We sold the last one to Arden before he left, didn't we? I believe so, sir, now that you mention it. Yeah, we sold that one. Sorry, sir. We don't got no daggers anymore. The last one. And, oh, you know where you could go? You could go over to Grob's Hammer.
To where?
And who would that be?
Oh, Grob's Hammer. It's a blacksmith in town. If he doesn't have any right there, he can probably make one for you. It might take a little while, but at least you could get one.
All right.
All right. Does anybody else need anything else from this establishment then?
Hey, don't you want the potions?
Well, we were gonna go see Burton and see if we could do that favor for you, and then we'll come back. So don't sell those potions to anybody else, please.
I will not. On my honor. And he takes the new potions, sets them off to the side, and kind of underneath the counter. It's like, I'll see you back later then.
Oh, thank you, sir. And I bow and give him a great big wink.
Asila nods and starts heading for the door. Thank you, sir.
Anytime. See you back later.
All right.
So do we want to go to Grob's Hammer or the inn, or do we want to so Grob's Hammer or the inn?
Which one? Say which one's closer.
They're about the same distance. The inn is back kind of the way you came down Main Street. The Grob's Hammer is further ahead, about the same distance from where you are now. Opposite directions.
Well, Mr. Bluntsworth, you wanted to go to Grog's Hammer?
Yes.
All right.
To Grob's Hammer, then.
What is it? Is it Grob? Grog?
Grod.
Or
Grod.
Okay.
Grod.
Grod.
I kept hearing multiple things.
Oh, hello, Barden.
Yeah, I'm popping them up here. Hold on. And we've met Barden and Jag.
Jag. Thought it was Jed.
I thought it was Jed.
That's what I thought.
All right. So you guys head over to Grob's Hammer, correct?
Yes.
You can tell as you're walking up to it that it's definitely a blacksmith because you hear the clanging of the hammering inside, and you can smell the smoke. It's pretty obviously a blacksmith. You walk in under the giant dwarven hammer carving that's hanging over the door, and when you walk in, you see standing over one of the anvils, a short, well, compared to Mr. Bluntsworth here at least, a dwarf standing at one of the anvils. And you assume that said dwarf is Rod. Stout dwarf, thick red hair and beard. The sides of his head shaved, so he's basically got a really, really long talk down the back of his hair. Not wearing a shirt, just an apron over it, which you can kind of make sense of because it is kind of hot in the blacksmith, given the giant forge that's in the back. Off to one side, you also see what looks like a half-orc female hammering away on another anvil.
Go ahead, Ford. You wanted to find your dagger.
Hello, good people. I'm here to purchase kind of a specialty dagger, if you happen to sell any of those.
the dwarf kind of just puts up a hand to kind of hold on a second as he finishes hammering away a couple more times on whatever he's working on, and then sets it down. And then while the orc's still pounding, he yells, "Hey, Mert! Hold on for a second. We got customers." The orc, Mert, stops, looks up at you guys, and then kind of wipes her brow and sets the hammer down. "Fine. Gonna go get some water." And that kind of steps out the back. The dwarf turns to you, looks at you, all three of you, like, So, you need metal?
Yes. I'm looking for a dagger.
Daggers I can do. Got a few. What kind of dagger are you looking at?
I'm looking for one that's ornate looking, but can still do the dirty work.
Okay. It's a little bit fancier.
If you have some paper and a quill, I can show you exactly what I would like it to look like, or something of the sorts.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
Okay, I guess. He goes and finds a piece of more or less clean parchment and a piece of charcoal. Like, this is what we got here. It's a forge, what you expect. And hands them to you.
Is Monkey actually drawing it?
No, I'm Googling, trying to find something similar enough. I thought about drawing it, then I also realized that I'm shitty at drawing with a mouse. Do the Google.
Alright. So, you fellows from around here?
No, we're actually from the north.
New in town? Moving in?
No, just
passing through.
Okay. He turns towards Ford, who he's handed who's kind of scribbling on the paper there. Like, so you want me to make something custom that's gonna take a little while? You gonna be stick around long?
I'm more just hoping you have something similar enough to this in stock. Doesn't have to be.
I mean, we're not in a terribly big hurry. We could stick around if we need to. What do you think, Asila?
I guess it depends on how long it will take.
Yeah, I mean, if it takes a really long time, because, we don't want to move in permanently. We're just, visit for a little while, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that kind of depends on what Mr. Fancy Britches here wants and how fancy he wants it and all that kind of.
Yes.
While we wait for him to finish showing us what he wants, Asila reaches into her pouch and pulls out key, and as she picks it up, she very quietly goes, "Shh," and then holds it out for Grodd to see. Would you happen to know what kind of metal this is offhand?
Oh, good question.
Grodd gives you kind of a funny look as you shush the key. Oh, Monkey just disappeared. Oh, there he is. Gives you kind of a funny look as you shush the key, but kind of looks closer at it. Looks closer at it.
Monkey, are you talking? Because we can't hear you.
Oh, I was focusing on trying to get the sound.
Okay.
Kind of hard to tell. I would guess some. I mean, it looks kind of like iron, but that green color is a bit weird. That usually comes with like copper.
but that's not the color of copper. I don't know. Some sort of weird magical iron is what my best guess would be. I mean, I could definitely melt it down and we could see what happens and see what
No,
comes
that's
of it.
okay. She
It's a
puts
family
the key
heirloom.
back in her pocket and closes it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you. We were just curious.
Yeah, glad to be of service. So that fancy dagger there, huh? He takes the parchment and is like, that's different.
It's quite fancy.
You can see what's drawn on there is a dagger that's kind of got like a wavy pattern. It's not a straight dagger. It kind of curves back and forth with a little kind of a twist on the end. Kind of looks at it and is like, I don't got nothing like that. I mean, our daggers that we make here, they're pretty much your standard stick them in the gut kind of dagger. They're not this fancy stuff. You're gonna have to go somewhere else if you want that. I mean, I could make that, but it's gonna take a while and get some special steel in for that curve, and probably take me.
I don't know if we're. Sorry, continue.
What's that you say?
I was just going to say that I don't know if we have quite enough time to be waiting for iron deliveries.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Probably make more sense. You might have better look down south. Some of them fancier ones, kind of like the fancier knives that the fancy people like. We don't really got too many fancy people here, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
But I mean, where you see fancy people, you got fancy wine and fancy clothes and fancy daggers. So maybe down south, Dervendon or Morehouse or maybe Mistwatch. I mean, don't know, but not around here. It'd be a while, especially if you're heading out anytime soon. I got normal daggers though. He pulls out a couple of them, and tosses them just kind of on like a desk that seems more to be a couple barrels with a sturdy plank in between them. Like, I got these if you want them.
What do you think, Ford?
I suppose I could take one for now, just so I have something.
How much for the dagger?
Well, probably about, I don't know, 2, 3 gold. That one there is 2. That one there is 3. It's a little sharper.
And how many of these do you have?
I don't know. Hey, Bert! The orc sticks her head back in. You got 3 of that one, and then one of the nicer one sticks her head back out. The dwarf looks at you like, that's why I keep her around.
All right. I'll buy all of them you got.
Oh, okay. So that's a 2, 4.
Asila looks at Nephi
6.
and mouths, all of them?
I know. Goodness.
At this point, the dwarves kind of thinking, okay, 2, 4, 6. All right, 9 gold, and you got yourself 4 daggers.
Deal.
And they are all standard daggers. The sharper appears to have been recently sharpened, and it will do, because it's freshly sharpened, it will do +1 damage on the first hit it makes, but only the first hit. All right, folks, anything else I can do for you?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Asila, did you need anything?
I think I'm good as well. Thank you.
All right, nice seeing you. He kind of does the tip his hat type gesture, obviously with no hat, and turns back and starts hammering on the anvil again.
And as we walk out, I say, good day to you, sir, in Dwarven.
He pauses for a minute. Yeah, you too. Also in Dwarven. All right.
Well, that was
Okay.
productive. That's a lot of daggers, sir.
Only 3 of them. Gives me some room to throw and maybe miss.
Oh, all right, if that's your prerogative. Shall we move on? My stomach's starting to rumble.
To the inn.
Off to the inn. As you approach.
As they're
Go ahead.
walking, Asila looks down at the pouch that Key is in. Thanks for being quiet.
Are you kidding me? If I had said anything, there's one thing. That things made out of metal, you don't mess around with blacksmiths. That is a rule of thumb.
Very smart.
Fair enough. They continue on.
All right. You arrive in the inn. As you walk up to it, it does appear to be probably the nicest building in town. It seems to be pretty decently well kept up. You enter, and when you enter, it's relatively empty. I mean, it is the middle of the day. Most of the people are about doing their business. But there's plenty of space, a decent number of open tables. You see behind the bar, or rather, kind of wandering back and forth behind the bar and in and out of the kind of what you assume to be the kitchen area behind it. A portly man with big mutton chops, kind of a thinning hair, the big apron on the front. He's got the mutton chops down the side, and then in stash over, and then back up the other side, kind of thing. So let me show. So you see him behind the bar. You also see behind the bar a very jovial-looking dwarf. This one's a bit more well-dressed and, well, dressed at all compared to the last dwarf you just met. He is dressed pretty well. He's got a mostly clean vest on front that you can see kind of doubles as an apron. You see him kind of wiping the bar down. You also see a young woman, looks to be human, dark hair, and an apron, kind of going around clearing off tables. And back in one of the back corners, just kind of sitting there nursing a big tankard of something, is a scruffy-looking guy, the long dark coat, kind of just leaning back on his seat. As you walk in, the dwarf speaks up and is like, "Hey, good day to you, folks. Looking for a drink? Looking for food? Looking for a spot to lay your head?"
My friend is
we
looking
were
for
sent
food.
here to-
Sorry, go ahead.
You go on.
No, you can go ahead.
I'm looking
We
for
were sent-
something to eat and drink.
That's what I like. A woman who knows what she wants.
Yes, and I go up to the bar and I hop up on a seat and plant myself. What you got?
Well, we got what you want, drink or food first.
Both at the same time, preferably. But if the drink can get here faster, that's fine.
It can and it will. For drinks, we got a couple options. I mean, we're not the nicest place around, but we've got a standard basic ale. I think this week it's in from, I don't know, Mistwatch maybe. It just came in. I would recommend it. We do have some brandy. Came all the way from Arvindon. Probably the best thing we got here, if that's what you want. Get you warm up in the morning. Otherwise, we got some beer brewed right here in town. Probably, if you're not looking for something quite strong, the beer would be a good option.
Well, since it is afternoon and it's early, sure, I'll sample the local fare.
Sounds good. Coming right up. How about you folks? Anything?
Actually, I was sent here by Barden to take on his debt.
Oh, you're going to want to talk to Bertrand.
Where can I find Bertrand?
At the moment, the portly button chopped man that you saw earlier is coming out of the kitchen like, I am Bertrand Huffle, proprietor of this establishment. Pleasure to meet you. What can I do for you?
Yes, we were sent here to honor a debt. We're told just to tell you that, and you tell us instructions from there.
Debt? Oh, you must be talking about Barden. Yes,
Yes, Barden
does
sent
owe me a
us.
favor. Yes.
Yes, we're here to do the favor for him. For you.
Oh, okay. Well, can't think of it. Just between the two of us, well, I guess
The four of us.
all of us here, I guess.
The five of us. Hmm?
Yeah. Anyways, you folks seem to be honestly more able to do any sort of favors than old Barden. I mean, he does owe me a favor, but honestly, I hadn't figured on ever being able to have him offer anything I needed. But you folks, though, something that might be helpful.
We are definitely helpful.
You look like the helpful sort. Well, here's how it is. We've had a number of local folks, let's say, who have gone missing, I guess. They've been off heading either down to Mistwatch or even further south there. Some of them heading north toward the Wen or to Spalding. But they go away. We expect them back in a few weeks, but they just aren't there, and it's gotten us a bit worried. I mean, it could be that they're all just deciding to settle down elsewhere, but that it's a bit strange. Some of them are regular locals here, and I wouldn't expect them to leave.
Yes, it seems like a nice town. I don't know why anybody would want to leave.
Exactly. I mean, I've been here. My father grew up here. I grew up here. My grandfather grew up here. There have been at least 5 generations of Huffles here, maybe more.
So you're hiring us to go find these people?
More or less, yes. Or find out kind of where they went or anything of that nature.
Okay. Do you have any names or specifics on these people? So we can ask around.
Well, sure. Dagon was the most recent one, I think. Dagon. Who was before that? I think it was Alyssa was the other one. Those were the 2 most recent ones.
Okay.
I would start there.
Which way were they heading? You said some went one way and some went the other. Were they all heading out of town on the same road, at least?
Yeah. Yes. More or less. If you go back down, kind of northwestward, you'll come to a fork in the road. Heading down, keep going north. You'll kind of eventually run into the bay or kind of water, and you can't go too much further. But if you take the other fork, that's the roads down to the rest of the city, down to Mistwatch, and then beyond there. So that's where I would start if I was heading that way.
All right, to Mistwatch. And Dagon and Alyssa, is there anything we should know about them? I'm sure more than one person is named Dagon and Alyssa. just to separate them from somebody else that other people have seen.
Well, that's good point. Well, Dagon is a dwarf. He looks dwarvish, I guess. The bartender plops down a couple of plates of bread and meat and cheese and standard inn fare. He looks up at Bertrand and is like, "Really, dwarven? That's all you could do?" Rogan is a dwarf, Dagon is a dwarf, like Bertrand said here. Middling age, dark hair, full beard, kind of what you'd expect from a civilized dwarf. He was what did he do around here? Bertrand just kind of shrugs, and the bartender, like, anyways, odd jobs, I think it was, just kind of helping in here, helping in there. Alyssa, half elf, about your height, pointing over to Ford. Kind of kept to herself, though. Don't know too much about her.
She's a half elf?
Yes, she is.
Had they both lived here in town for a long time?
Yeah, Dagon grew up here. So, what's he now? 35, 36, something like that. Alyssa came here 3 or 4 years ago. Thought she had been settling down, but I guess you never know.
Alyssa, what color hair did she have? Just to get some difference on her, other than half elf.
Yeah. Kind of a dark reddish brown, I think. The serving...
Sorry, did you say dark lightish brown?
Dark reddish brown.
Dark reddish brown, okay.
The serving girl, Mia, might as well just show you all the characters. The serving girl, Mia, spoke like, yes, yes, she's tall, kind of a darkish brown hair. She looked very nice, but she was a bit quiet, from what I remember.
Okay.
And did Alyssa do anything in particular here in town?
I think she was some sort of plant gatherer, or an alchemist, or a herbalist, or something like that, maybe? I'm not really sure.
Sounds like you have a vague idea, and that's better than nothing. Thank you.
You're welcome. And she goes back to kind of cleaning off table.
Okay, I guess we will take off and try to figure this out after we eat.
Yes.
Sounds good. There's 1 gold apiece for drinks and food.
All right, not a problem. I'll take care of that since I'm eating
One
most
each
of it.
or one total?
One for the lot of you.
Oh,
especially since you're
thank you.
going to be helping us out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So he brings out food, drinks.
This is all the substance that I need.
Good on you, sir.
Could I get some more of that beer, please? I think my cup is empty.
Oh, so it is. So sorry. They call me the full mug because normally I don't let that happen, but we've been talking, and so many apologies. This one's
Quite
on the
all right.
house.
I have a tendency to, drink rather quickly.
Alrighty, so you guys have...
Asila picks at her food.
All right. So you guys
Shoveling.
have your meals, and as you're kind of finishing up, the girl Mia walks over, kind of a little bit timid, like, "Excuse me,
Yes.
are you going to look for Dagon and Alyssa and the others?"
Yep. We're
Yes, we
going
are,
to
my lady.
attempt.
Well, um, I I don't know if it'll help much, but I don't know much about Dagon, but I know that Alyssa, at least, um, she she spent a decent amount of time. Well, at least I think it was a decent amount of time. I don't really know. Over at the church. You might ask there for if you wanted to find out more where she might have gone.
Thank you. That's a very good lead.
She smiles brightly at that. You're welcome. She kind of walks away and goes
Mia,
back into the kitchen. Yes?
do you think there would be any reason they would go south to join the fight?
Oh, no, no. Alyssa especially is definitely not a fighter, and Dagon, I mean, he's strong and helps out with a lot of like the heavy lifting and things around town, chopwood, that sort of thing. But I don't think he's much of a fighter.
Okay, just checking. Thank you. You can.
Mm-hmm. She walks away.
Hmm.
I guess we should begin our search at the church.
Yes, I was just thinking. There must be something they have in common. I mean, maybe there's something out there along the road that's. But let's go to the church and see what we can find out from them.
We'll start there and then move outwards if we need to.
All right.
So we head into the church.
All right. You head over to the church.
The Church of the
Uh,
Holy Seagull.
the church seems to be a solid building. The only stone building in town. Nice, big, solid doors as you walk up to it.
I take my staff and gently rap on the door. Boom, boom, boom.
A few moments later, you see the door open, and a woman greets you. She looks to be human. Very dark skin, short dark hair, wearing what almost might look to be something that you'd wear on a ship: loose pants and tunic, loose vest, a sash tied around her waist with a dagger stuck in it. Hello, my name is Messina. What can I help you with?
We are investigating the disappearance of some townsfolk. May we speak with you?
Oh, yes. I don't know much about most of them, but Alyssa did come here on occasion. What, are you looking for them?
We're trying.
We hope
Did
to find
Alyssa,
them.
did Alyssa say anything about leaving town recently?
Uh, she did. Let's see. The last time we spoke, she did mention that she had gotten a letter or a missive of some sort. She apparently has family down where I don't remember exactly where. It might have been um, down in Rednern somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. But she got the letter, and it apparently worried her a bit. It sounded like she'd gotten some bad news. Uh, a day or two later, I think. I think it was 2 days later. She left. I'm guessing it's probably something with her family, and they needed her for some reason.
But you knew for sure it was down to the south.
Yes. Well, I'm assuming so. She took the only road out of town, kind of north to the fork, and then I'm assuming that she went south from there. That's how most travelers would head south from here.
Where does the other fork in the road go to?
Well, one fork leads here. The other one leads down south, and then if you take the single road going the other way, you're heading up north towards Lake Ol.
That would be where we came from, right?
Correct.
Yes, okay.
So basically, at the fork, the left fork that you took down towards where you are right now, the right fork is the path further south.
yeah, so it's something like this.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, I had a question. What was it?
While she's thinking of her question, I'm just inquire. You said your name was Mistina?
Messina, yes.
Messina. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Neffy. I'm just being new to these parts, and I've never seen a church quite like this. What is this church of?
This is the Church of Hasten. Are you familiar with Hasten?
No, I don't think I've ever heard. I'm more of a nature person,
Ah,
druid
well,
by training.
fair enough. I would have thought that you would have known of Hasten, but that's not a matter if you're not from around here. That may be why. Hasten is a goddess of the sea. She is as close as anything of a patron that Werse has, being a fishing village and having most of our livelihood in this town being dependent on the sea. We ask her for her blessing when we go out on a voyage, and when we return, we thank her for having kept us safe and for giving us a good haul.
Well, she sounds like a very nice deity. I'm more from the woods and the mountains. That's why I haven't heard of her, but now I have, and I will remember that.
That's fair. I wouldn't expect many inlanders to know of Hasten, not being brought up or even near the sea. She's not often worshipped inland very far.
Messina, I was
Yes?
wondering if maybe you've seen or heard from Dagon recently?
Dagon. The name's familiar.
A dwarf
Oh,
that does
yes.
odd jobs around town, we heard?
Yes, yes. I spoke with him once or twice. Um, he tended not to come here often, and so I didn't have much interaction with him. He seemed like a nice enough fellow.
Do you know of anybody else in town who's gone missing recently?
Hmm. The only other person that I know of, the top of my head, was Adrian. He was a merchant of sorts, I guess. He stuck around, had sold things, bought things. Didn't seem to be a permanent fixture anywhere, really, but he'd been around here for a while. We were assuming that he had just decided to stay, but I guess the time came that he say that he'd be back, uh, to, presumably with a new batch of things to sell, but that was a month or two ago, and he hasn't been back yet, so I'm assuming he must have found another place to make his sales.
Well, we will certainly keep our eye out for him during the search.
I appreciate it. I know that it may just seem odd to people
that people might leave here. But if you here, you would don't typically they just stay. It's a good town. Very odd for someone to actually leave and not come back. I mean, people do leave occasionally, but not coming back is a bit strange.
Is there any history of any abnormal wildlife or wildlife in general in the forest or mountains along the roads?
She thinks for a minute. No, not that I'm aware of. Your standard rabbits, maybe a pack of wolves here and there. None that have ever, my knowledge, actually caused any harm or anything to impact more than the hunter who can't find game or anything.
Sounds fair enough. Well, thank you for your assistance.
You're very welcome. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, I believe we're fine for now. Thank you so much for your information.
You're very welcome. May your sails be full.
You as well.
All right.
Should we go tell
At this point, Ford joins back in with the group.
Was he not there?
I was gonna say Ford wasn't there.
Yeah, did you guys not hear me?
No.
No.
Oh, it's my mic out. Ford left, and as soon as you guys went into the church because he didn't want to deal with a religion that wasn't his.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think we
That's
ever
why I
actually
haven't been
went in. We just spoke to her on the doorstep.
over to the church. He
Yeah.
stayed at the end. He didn't want to deal with a religion that was not his own.
Okay.
All
I
right.
did not hear that.
Sorry, I thought.
Okay, so we'll go back
That's why I
to
didn't
the inn.
Yeah, let's go back to the inn, and then we should probably go see Barden and let him know that the deal with Bertrand is on, and see if we can pick up those potions from him before we go to
Before
investigate.
we leave.
Well, I mean, they might come in handy.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, he asked us to go see if we could do the favor. We're doing the favor. The potions might make us more successful.
I do not have 50 gold. I have 34 gold or something like that.
I have 21.
I have 54.
What's 50 divided by 3? 16 and a half. If we all want to chip in 16 and a half gold, or 17, whatever, do you want to just, I don't know, give it to Neffy and she can buy it? No?
But yeah, I mean,
Unless,
I can't
unless
buy
you
it.
want to buy it.
I could buy it and you guys could IOU me.
Fair enough. I do feel like it's important that we get these, so.
Yeah, we don't know what we're up against. If people are going off and not returning, I don't want to be one of them.
So we will head back to the inn and we will grab Ford. We'll kind of brief him on the information we got, and then we will head back to Barden.
Okay. All right, so you head along. I head back to the inn. As you walk in, Bertrand greets you. So, how was the search?
We didn't get too far yet. We've checked out the church,
Oh?
and we got a little bit more information. But we just came to get our friend, and we're gonna head out and search to the south.
All right, very well.
So definitely let me know what you find.
Of course, we'll keep you up to date. Come
Thank
on,
you very
Ford.
much.
Here, Ford. Come on, Ford. Don't actually do that, but that's what it feels like.
Mhm.
So we head over to Bertrand's place next.
Barden.
All right.
Barden, yeah. That's what I said, obviously.
Obviously. All right.
All right. As you walk in, Barton is sitting right where you left him. As they see you walks in, he pulls out the potion and sits him on top. He's like, "So, um, the favor done?"
We're actually in the middle of doing the favor. The favor is to find some missing people. However, we feel like perhaps while we're on this journey, we might need the potions. But since we're doing the favor for you, would you be willing to give us the 2-for-1 special still?
As far as I'm concerned, you've already done what you agreed. You took my favor, and now you're doing whatever Bertrand wants you to do. But my part of this is done, and so I'm good. My slate with him is clear, and so 2-for-1, buy one get one free, as the fancy people say.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And that was 40 gold, correct?
I could have sworn I said 50. Let me check my book. He pulls out the same little book and starts flipping through it again.
I thought as we agreed to buy one, get one free, it would be 40 gold.
Yes, but you buy the one for the full price, and you get the one for free.
Right, the full price of 40 gold.
But my book here says 50. Yeah, 50.
Can I do an intimidate to try to intimidate him to giving it to us at 40?
How were you planning on doing that?
I would like to threaten him to us not fulfilling the favor and him having to go do this quest on his own.
Well, what do you say to him?
So you're the kind of person who likes to go back on deals, huh? So how about we turn around, walk out this door, and you have to go fulfill this little quest we're being sent on by yourself, huh? Think you can go all down south and fight yourself?
Okay, a couple things here, sir. First of all, my slate's clear here. You're doing this favor for Bertrand. Second of all, my book says 50. I always check my book before I make a sale, and I always check that book, and I make sure that I'm right. I double check and make sure that I have got the numbers right, and I said 50. Now, a buy one, get one is two $50 potions for the price of one. Now, that's what a buy one, get one is, not buy one, get one and a discount on top of that. I mean, I'm already doing you a real good deal.
And we're doing you a good deal by going down south and fighting for the favor that you owe him. You owe him this favor, and we're fulfilling the favor for you.
Go ahead and roll intimidation. Right?
Okay, my intimidate is... Hear me?
What did you say?
I said I got 19.
19. He kind of looks.
And I lean up on the counter with my gnomish good looks and bat my pretty eyes at him.
Well, I'm already losing money on this. I'll go 45 for you, but I can't go any lower.
I think that sounds reasonable. 45 it is.
All right.
I will be sure to not patronize, be patrons here again.
All right. But if I get one, that's not a deal for everything. That's just for this one.
Understood.
Of course.
All right.
We would never expect you to lose money every time we're here.
I should hope not.
All right. He takes your gold, gives you the 2 potions. They are 2 potions of cure minor wounds, cure light wounds. So 1d8 plus 1.
Dragon, are you writing them down, or do you want me to write them down?
No, I got it. It was, what was it?
1d8
2
plus
potions.
1d8 plus 1.
1.
Okay. We bid him adieu and head out of town, I guess. Unless somebody
Alright.
else wants to do something else.
Monkey, what kind of time are you looking at for tonight? This is definitely going to be a multi.
About another hour.
Okay. Just to have an idea of where we can cut. All right. As you head back up, you walk down the same path you came out of town, recedes in the distance behind you. You get to the fork where you meet each other.
Is there anything like I know we looked at it when we were coming in, but now that we know that there are people missing, is there anything like strange around the area?
Make a perception check.
I am
Not really.
very down the middle.
Not really. I mean,
Let's see.
I got a 17.
Also, when we're out of town, I let Key out of his pocket.
Okay. Yep. 17, right?
Yep, 17.
Yep. You notice that, I mean, you can tell that people have down the other path. I mean, it's not overgrown. You can tell people have been down there. Can't really say how long it's been, but nothing else really looks out of place. It looks like a normal crossing.
Okay. So I believe they said that they went to the south, so we should take this other path towards the mountains.
Yep.
All right.
We merrily skip down the path towards the mountains.
All right. As you go ahead and make a perception check or a nature check, whichever you prefer.
I'll do nature.
I'll perceive. Yes.
19!
As you're walking along, okay. As you're walking along, you're noticing things. You're keeping an eye open for things along the path that could be strange or that could provide any clues as to where these people have ended up or where they've gone. You do notice, as you're going along, is that after maybe an hour or so of walk, you come across something that looks a bit odd off the side. Oh, okay. It looks a bit odd. It looks like some of the vegetation on the side of the road have moved or shuffled around recently. Might be worth looking at closer.
Something doesn't look right.
As you get closer, you can tell that it's very obviously been moved, and as you kind of brush past it and move it aside a bit, you can see that there's somewhat of a path heading back into the woods a ways. It looks like it at one time had been a fairly well used path. I mean, you can see cobblestones here and there, but it's definitely been overgrown quite a bit and only probably very recently been traversed again.
I wonder why
This
somebody would.
is
Yeah, why would they
out
hide
of
this?
place. Well, I think we should definitely follow it.
Something's
Asila
definitely
begins.
trying to hide it.
Yep. Asila wants to check just to see if there's anything funky with the stone steps before they begin walking on them.
All right. They are very, very scattered. We're talking like former like cobblestone road that's been over for years. So it's more like an occasional stone here or there.
Okay.
But go ahead and roll a perception check if you'd like. Yeah, they're completely normal stone. Once you pick
Okay.
one up, look underneath. It's just a rock.
Just being sure. Can never be too safe. She kind of ushers everybody along as they go along the path.
Ford just continues
All right.
following along, shaking his head from side to side.
As you head on, it's a little ways into the. If I could have you make perception checks, everyone.
Alright. Roll high.
Oh,
That is not a high roll.
no.
What? Did you say something? I was taking a nap while I was walking.
Ford, how'd you get?
I got a 20.
A natural 20?
I can't hear anything from Monkey.
You got a 20.
He got a 20.
Not a that. It was with a modifier, made a 20.
Oh, okay. Not a natural 20.
Okay, so just
Much
the
better
2020?
than me.
Yeah.
Okay. Ford, as he's walking, hears a little something. He hears, it sounds like a whinny up ahead, like a horse.